We begin tonight with a community and big names rallying to help thousands of Hoosiers who are still without power for 2 weeks in the northwest part of Indiana. Thanks so much for inviting us in on this Monday night at 6 o'clock. Anne Marie has tonight off. The governor of Indiana says the power company in charge of turning the lights back on needs to be investigated for this prolonged outage. Our State House reporter Emily Longnecker is in Gary right now at a community event to help residents recover.
Well, even before the gates opened up on this relief event on Gary's west side, organizers say cars were lining up all the way out here at 7 a.m. For the folks coming through here, they say this has been about more than just getting supplies and a free meal. They say it's shown them that when they asked for help, people listened. After 2 weeks without electricity, thousands of Gary residents are still waiting for power to come back on.
How many households?
But Monday, many saw a different kind of power activated, the kind that happens when a community comes together.
This is big for so many people because a lot of people felt like that we weren't getting any help at all.
Darla McLaurin was one of thousands who gathered in Gary's Roosevelt Pavilion Monday. The Salvation Army, among several organizations, partnered to give residents relief kits with cleaning supplies and a warm meal. Prolonged power outages caused many residents to lose food and a way to even cook it.
People said that Gary needs help. We've come together.
Gary gained national attention as the days dragged into weeks, with residents there posting their stories on social media.
People who were telling their story and not being afraid.
Food critic and media personality Keith Lee was at Monday's event, lending his voice and platform to Gary's plight.
I feel like 2 days is too long. The fact that when you're on day 14 and people are still without power, I feel like it's a shame. It's underdeserved. This is a place that should never be forgotten about.
Monday morning, Governor Mike Braun called for a review of power company NIPSCO's preparation for and response to the recent power outages, including whether the utility company maintained vegetation to protect utility lines and equipment.
They really do need to invest in NIPSCO. They need to make sure, because this can happen in the winter.
For these Gary residents, no time is a good time to be without power, but this gathering a brief reminder of the power of community.
This is going to give so many people the next day and then the next day, because we have to take this a day at a time.
Now Governor Braun calling for an investigation into NIPSCO and how they handled this and this prolonged power outage. The governor saying that Hoosiers deserve accountability. Gary residents here saying absolutely. In Gary, Emily Longnecker, 13 News.
Tonight we're learning more about flooding cleanup and the recovery underway in Hamilton County. The Highway Department says it has now developed a timeline to replace the Hazeldell Bridge, which officials say is a complete loss. They hope to begin work sometime after Thanksgiving with the goal of wrapping up construction next year. The state of Indiana is still waiting to hear if it'll receive any federal funding from FEMA to help cover the disaster. But if you're in need of assistance, they say there are steps you can take right now. That way you're prepared if that money becomes available.
If you're spending monetary resources, acquiring equipment, anything on your own, to keep track of all of those expenses and receipts and records, so that later as those different disaster declaration categories are granted, if they are granted, they have the paperwork to be able to complete the FEMA process to submit for potential reimbursement.
The county is also entering into a contract with a debris removal company. That company will place dumpsters throughout the county to help residents dispose of debris. The city of Carmel tonight is hosting an open house to help Hoosiers impacted by the flooding. This will take place tomorrow from 5:30 to 7 at Northview Church. You can talk tomorrow with city staff, disaster relief organizations, and community partners. You can also get some help with reporting property damage, making an insurance claim, and finding temporary housing or storage. The Indiana Department of Health will also be there sharing information about tetanus shots. Madison County is certainly another area hit hard by the recent flooding. Hundreds of homes were damaged in Anderson. Residents are now getting ready for the long road ahead. Ella Rhodes joins us live tonight in Anderson after hearing from leaders there. Ella?
Scott, the mayor of Anderson, Thomas Broderick Jr., announced a $600,000 community emergency fund for up to 600 households impacted from the floods. I mean, you can still see people are going through and cleaning out their homes, seeing what they can salvage, but most of it is gone. So you can see in the video on your screen there, it shows you when the mayor explained that this is a one-time payment of $1,000. So he described it as a quick assistance to help families get food on the table or cover the cost of a hotel. So that $600,000 is being split up, $1,000 to each of the 600 homes. Now, the mayor considers this a bridge assistance until federal money comes through. The White River crested here in Anderson at a record 24.9 feet, leaving many homes and businesses devastated. Mayor Broderick said they used the flood plan from 2017. Amanda Rideout's son's home is practically destroyed. The foundation is cracked and the wall of the basement is caving in. Her son plans to apply for the $1,000.
There's mold, mildew, and everything in here. Everybody's worried. And everybody's probably afraid to stay here because what if it happens again?
Rideout says $1,000 won't cover much, and she worries about the families who have multiple people in their household. Now, as you can see, cleanup is very much still underway. You're actually looking at the house that we had mentioned where that foundation is completely cracked and that basement is caving in on itself. So as you can see here on 2nd Street in Anderson, people are still cleaning up a week and a half after the flood. And I do want to mention about that community fund. You can apply for it, they say, as early as Thursday, and then they hope to get the money out to people within the next 5 days. Scott?
Yeah, and those people certainly need that money. Ella Rhodes in Anderson tonight. Thanks so much. And we put together all of our flooding updates plus resources for flood victims. You can check that out by going to WTHR.com/flooding. Beautiful Monday across central Indiana, nice and dry as the recovery continues from all the flooding. It looks like we're going to have a really nice evening, too.
Nice evening and a nice week. I only have one rain chance in the 7
good.
day, and I know that is good news for all of us across central Indiana, especially those hit hard by all of the flooding. One rain chance, and that comes on Wednesday. We do have lots of sunshine across the area now. Blue skies over Bloomington. IU classes started today, along with classes up at Purdue. Country Club of Indianapolis, the skies are clear as well. We'll take you into Bainbridge, where we have a mix of sun and just a few mid to high level clouds. You can see those there. From there, we'll go into Carmel and Hamilton County. Again, some sunshine and just a few fair weather clouds. Should make for a nice sunset this evening. That happens just a couple of minutes before 8:30. A view from the Speedway to the downtown area of Indianapolis. We have 77 in the capital city, 75 in Muncie, 75 Columbus, and 73 degrees in Richmond. We'll stay in the 70s. Once the sun goes down again around 8:30, those numbers will drop into the 60s, eventually into the 50s, maybe a little bit of fog early tomorrow morning, not enough to slow us down. And from upper 50s, will be just a couple of degrees warmer than what we had today and near 80.
All right, looking good tomorrow, that's for sure, weather-wise. A murder trial is underway for an Indianapolis mom who's accused of killing her 5-year-old daughter, Kinsley Welty. This is the second time Tony McClure has faced a jury in this case. The first trial, you may remember, ended with a mistrial after a juror and witness allegedly spoke outside the courtroom, which is not allowed. Ashton Hackman was in court today for the opening statements.
Kinsley Welty was 5 years old and weighed just 21 pounds when she died. Prosecutors say in the final months of her life, Kinsley was locked inside a closet, deprived of food and water.
Kinsley Welty died because of the systematic, prolonged, and fatal abuse that was inflicted upon her by her mother, the person who was supposed to take care of her.
Tony McClure's attorneys are not denying Kinsley was neglected, but they argue prosecutors can't prove McClure intended to kill her.
You can't give justice to Kinsley through vengeance. And she does deserve justice.
McClure's boyfriend Ryan Smith and McClure's mother Tammy Halsley were also charged in Kinsley's death. Both pleaded guilty to neglect resulting in death and are expected to testify against McClure.
If convicted of murder, Tony McClure faces life without the possibility of parole. In Indianapolis, Ashton Hackman, 13 News.
Tonight, IMPD is investigating the death of a 1-year-old as a homicide. So here's what we know tonight. Officers were called to an apartment building near 13th and Delaware last month for a death investigation. They found a 1-year-old boy who was unresponsive who died at the hospital. Police right now are not releasing the identity of the child or saying how he died. We don't have any word on any arrests in this case, so we'll keep you updated as we learn more information.